Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Shloka Day. Today's Shloka is Shloka number 7 of chapter 10. Etam vibhutim yogam cha
Etam vibhutim yogam cha
mama yo veti tattvataha
mama yo veti tattvataha
so vikalpena yogena
so vikalpena yogena
yujyate natra samshayaha.
yujyate natra samshayaha.
Okay. Word for word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Etam,
Etam,
all this,
all this,
vibhutim,
vibhutim,
opulence,
opulence,
yogam,
yogam,
mystic power,
mystic power,
cha,
cha,
also,
also,
mama,
mama,
of mine,
of mine,
yaha,
yaha,
anyone
anyone who
veti,
veti,
knows,
knows,
tattvataha,
tattvataha,
factually,
factually,
saha,
saha,
he,
he,
avikalpena,
avikalpena,
without division,
without division,
yogena,
yogena,
in devotional service,
in devotional service,
yujyate,
yujyate,
is engaged,
is engaged,
na,
na,
never,
never,
atra,
atra,
here,
here,
samshayaha,
samshayaha,
doubt.
doubt.
Translation. One who is factually convinced of this opulence
One who is factually convinced of the opulence
and mystic power of mind
and mystic power of mind
engages in unalloyed devotional service.
engaged in unalloyed devotional service.
Of this, there is no doubt.
Of this, there is no doubt.
Yes. So, this chapter is called Vibhuti Yoga, and the Lord has used the word Vibhutim. Etam Vibhutim Yogam Cha. So, what is the Lord saying here? In the third shloka, the Lord has told us about the partial benefit of simply knowing who He is. Yo mam ajamanadincha veti loka maheshwaram asammudha samatyeshu sarva papaif pramuchyate. There the Lord says, anybody who knows Him as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, Krishna says such a person gets free from sins. So that was half the benefit. Half the benefit is just knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All of your past karmic reactions get wiped away. Now in this particular shloka, the 7th shloka, the complete benefit of knowing who is the Lord is spoken by the Lord Himself. And what is that complete benefit? A person who knows about the Lord's power, His opulences, His mysticism. What do? They have nothing left to do except to completely surrender and worship Him. So the benefit is unalloyed devotional service. One benefit of knowing Krishna is your karmas get wiped away. The second benefit of really knowing who Krishna is, you get pure bhakti. Prabhupada writes, the highest summit of spiritual perfection is knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedya. So, the topmost benefit of knowing the Vedas is to know who Krishna is. And Prabhupada is writing the most perfect knowledge is knowledge of Krishna. Unless one is firmly convinced of the different opulences of the Supreme Lord, he cannot engage in devotional service. Generally, people know that God is great, but they do not know in detail how God is great. Here are the details. Meaning, in this particular chapter, the Lord is giving many examples why and how He is great. If one knows factually how God is great, then naturally he becomes a surrendered soul and engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord. Let's say you go in search of something and you find it. Once you found that something, then there's nothing else for you to search for. So similarly, if you found out who's the origin of everything that exists, then the next thing to do is to surrender to that personality and worship that personality. When one factually knows the opulences of the Supreme, there is no alternative but to surrender to him. Once you found out who's the topmost of bosses, and you know you can have a relationship with that boss, and you can have an intimate relationship with that boss, no exceptions, then what's left to do but to surrender to him? This factual knowledge can be known from the descriptions in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and similar literatures. In the administration of this universe, there are many demigods distributed throughout the planetary systems, and the chief of them are Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the 4 great Kumaras, and the other patriarchs, which we read about, the 25 personalities from whom this entire genealogy can be established. There are many forefathers of the population of the universe, and all of them are born of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the original forefather of all forefathers. These are some of the opulences of the Supreme Lord. When one is firmly convinced of them, which means when one is firmly convinced that this is the Supreme Lord and these are his opulences, he accepts Krishna with great faith and without any doubt, and he engages in devotional service. All this particular knowledge is required in order to increase one's interest in the loving devotional service of the Lord. One should not neglect to understand fully how great Krishna is, for by knowing the greatness of Krishna, one will be able to be fixed in sincere devotional service. So His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu writes that, one could say, a mundane person may say, why is the Lord talking about himself so much? In many chapters, there are a series of chapters here in the middle section where the Lord constantly talks about himself. I am this, I am that. I am the source of everything. All the demigods bow down to me. The sages bow down to me. They worship me. Is it because the Lord is trying to establish his position? Actually, no, the Lord doesn't have to establish his position with you and me. We are insignificant souls. Really, why is the Lord describing himself and his glories in so many different ways? It is actually not to establish his position, but it is to change our disposition. Disposition means our view of the world, the way we see things, the way we accept things. So it is to help you change yourself. The Lord is describing his own glories. So knowledge of Krishna increases and enhances one's devotion. The word Vibhuti refers to the great Shaktis of God manifesting in the universe. The word Yogam, Vibhuti Yogam, refers to God's connection with these wonderful powers. Yoga means to be connected, to be united. Knowledge of the greatness of God nourishes the love of the devotees and enhances their devotion. There is a direct relationship between knowledge and love, as the following example reveals. So this is from another Vaishnava Sampradaya, the commentary. Let us say that your friend shows you a black pebble-like stone. You have no knowledge of its importance, and thus you have no love for it either. Your friend says, this is a shaligram, and a saintly personality has gifted it to me. A shaligram is a special kind of fossil stone worshipped as a representation of Lord Vishnu. If you are aware of the significance of shaligrams, now if you don't know anything about shaligram, that black pebble-like stone is going to remain a black pebble-like stone. But if you know what is the significance of a shaligram, then suddenly that black stone is no longer a black stone. You will begin to offer your dandavats pranam to that black stone because you understand its significance. So if you are aware of the significance of the shaligram, when you receive this knowledge that the stone is a shaligram, your appreciation for it will increase. Let us say your friend further adds, do you know it used to be worshipped 500 years ago by the great saint Swami Ramananda? The moment you hear this piece of knowledge that somebody worshipped it, it has been worshipped for 500 years, it's been worshipped by a great personality, your respect for the stone increases even more. So each time, it is the knowledge that is boosting your reverence for the stone. Similarly, proper knowledge of God enhances your devotion towards Him. Thus, having described God's majestic splendors that manifest in the wondrous workings of unlimited universes, Sri Krishna states that those who become situated in this knowledge naturally become united with Him through unflinching bhakti. So that is why this chapter is called Vibhuti Yoga. Once you're convinced about the Lord's Vibhuti, there's nothing left for you to do but to worship Him. Worship Him with complete faith and complete dedication.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.